These are the stories of how prominent Londoners have managed to overcome the negative influences of the capital to become positive male role models. Their journey from boys to men.
You deserve God! You deserve God!
It's been a difficult season for me. I didn't play in the beginning of the season. I thought things was going bad, and then to end a match like this, to score the goal in the final, I just feel so happy.
Last summer, footballer Chuba Akpom courageously transferred his life to Greece, leaving behind his family, friends and Arsenal, his boyhood team. But after only one historic season at his new club PAOK FC, he has become a hero after striking PAOK towards a long-awaited Greek Super League title. I asked him, how does it feel to be back in the UK? You left a Cannon Town boy, but you arrived back a champion.
Football's so unpredictable, I never thought I'd be playing in Greece, but I loved it, I get to travel, I get to live in a beautiful town and meet a lot of amazing people. It feels amazing, my ambitions and my plan was to go to Greece and become champions there and become successful. And thankfully we made history, so now it feels good to come back.
This is how Chuba Akpom from Canning Town became an invincible. At just 6 years old, Chuba signed for Arsenal, where he played for 16 years. During that period, he represented England's national team at youth level, and whilst on loan, he helped Hull City gain promotion to the Premier League. So Chuba, can you just talk me through your journey from a 6-year-old to the 23-year-old you are now, who is a Greek champion? So what got you into football?
I've always been into football, I think growing up, I just, where I'm from, you're either playing football or you're doing something else that's probably not right, probably on the roads and taking another path. So I just chose to focus and play football.
I know everybody in the playground's playing around and having fun, but what made you think actually this can be my career?
I realised when I started getting scouted, I was playing for a local team, Ripaway, Sunday League team, and I had a few scouts coming up to my dad, West Ham, Arsenal, and that's when I started to think, okay, maybe I'm quite decent at football. I just used to play football everywhere. I used to go to the park, I used to play on the streets. I had a little corner next to my house where I used to play a lot of the time. And so everything, my life was just based on football.
So we're just approaching what is your former school now. When you look back on that pitch, what memories do you have?
I have a lot of memories. Just all of the kids running around, chasing the ball. It was really competitive, growing up. I think that's helped me a lot because when we used to play in the playgrounds and on the streets, it's always been competitive, it's always been rough. So I think you can kind of see that in the way I play. I've got that mentality, never give up mentality. So
how hard of a decision was it to go to Greece when you're a Canning Town boy, London born and raised, to go to a completely different country where you didn't speak the language? Was it a culture shock to begin with, or were you just excited to go somewhere new?
For me, I was excited. Luckily in my life I've been able to travel to different countries and different places because of football. But a lot of people from where I'm from, they just have that small mind where it's just Canning Town, it's just staying where you're from, your friends are there and stuff. And I always say to people that you should try and travel the world, try experience, because you can really see a lot of things that you've never seen before.
And what was it like growing up in Canning Town and around this area?
Growing up in Canning Town was quite difficult because there's a lot of temptations. I had a lot of friends that took a different path from me and ended up being in gangs and stuff like that. But luckily I had a good family, I had good guidance around me, and my family kept me on the straight and narrow.
Chuba's former head teacher at St Bonaventures spoke about some of the challenges young men from his area face.
In East London at the moment, you'll be aware that there are many young men who are getting themselves in difficulty because they see an easy option for them to gain financial reward. Chuba coming back will show our boys that hard work, fortitude will get you the long-term gains, and the benefit is that nobody can take it away from you.
I think the best thing we can do for the young kids is just try and educate them and give them different things to do. A lot of these kids are very talented, whether it's going to school, going to university, or whether it's being an athlete or a musician or something like this. I think we should just try and help kids bring out their talent. You just need people that support you and people that push you and help you reach your goal. And luckily I had that, so I wasn't, getting into no funny business on the roads or doing anything like this. I was just focusing on school and focusing on football.
If you can think back to the Chuba that was running around on this concrete pitch, where have you been that you thought you'd never ever go to, or met someone that you never thought you'd ever meet?
Thierry Henry.
Was he your hero?
He was my hero, yeah. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, they were my two heroes growing up.
What was it about Henry that made you think, actually, that's the kind of player I want to be, or just gave him that hero status?
I just loved the way his style, the way he played. And I thought because I was quite a fast player and I'm a dribbler as well, and I always thought Thierry Henry was that type of player as well, so it gave me like someone to look up to. And Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, I like Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank because he was a machine, he had a powerful shot and he was a goal scorer. So those are the two strikers I looked up to growing up.
So talking about looking up to, we're here at St Bonaventures, your former school. What kind of reaction do you think these children are going to have to seeing someone who went to their school, became a professional and is coming back a champion?
I think it's just good to have that inspiration and motivation, I remember when I was growing up here, I always wanted to become a professional footballer, and I am.
Chuba.
So this is where it all began?
Yes. This is where it all started.
Chuba's return to school was filled with hugs, selfies, handshakes and lots of pride from former teachers.
Over here, obviously, we used to have the concrete sledge here.
Yeah, it used to be a ledge, didn't it? Just about there, paving slab, right at shin level. I used to look at the boys playing football when they were running across this. I was terrified that they were going to take the legs off by hitting the paving slabs. This is all concrete.
Concrete, yeah.
Yeah.
We used to get quite competitive here as well, so you can imagine, slide tackles on concrete and all of that.
So what was it like developing your skills on the concrete pitch?
It was good because all we wanted to do was just play football. That's all we wanted to do, whether it was grass or concrete. We just loved playing football.
Yeah.
So was there a specific teacher that kind of thought, actually, Chuba, you can be really good at this if you focus?
Yeah, I remember there was Mr. Bastian. He's still here now.
Still here.
He used to take the football teams, and they always used to tell me like I had a lot of potential.
Oh, it's just the incredible feeling that it gives you and the school itself. It's just it's such a lift for everyone that's involved, and I think the most important thing is the example it sets and the aspiration that it gives to the other students.
And Chuba was happy to pass on more than just penalty advice.
I was in your position as well, do you get me? You want to be a professional footballer. The coaches are all telling me you're talented, bro. Keep your feet on the ground, humble, focus on football.
You can literally see what it means to these young boys to see Chuba, a positive role model, come back to their school to show that their dreams can become a reality. This wasn't the first time crowds cheered Chuba's name. So how did that promotion compare to what you just experienced in Greece?
I thought it would be hard to top that, but in Greece it's times 10. It's times 10.
These PAOK fans elaborated on how crazy the celebrations were and how Chuba's arrival had impacted their team.
It was very crazy. The whole stadium was on fire, and it was a huge success for us. It was 34 years without a title, without a domestic title. So it was like heaven for us. And hell for the others.
So how influential was Chuba in your side?
Chuba, like in the first half, we had another striker who were heavily relying on him. So the whole team was playing for him. Whereas this guy left, and after Chuba came, so he filled his gap. And everybody was stressed, what's gonna happen? Are we still gonna win the league without our main striker? And then Chuba, like classic Arsenal fan, he offered like something else. He made the team a much more attacking, so other people scored as well. So it was a completely different team rather the first half. So I'm very happy for Chuba. Me personally, I really like his game style.
Before Chuba flew back to Greece, we visited the stadium and the team that was his home for 16 years. But like an increasing number of young English footballers, Chuba decided it was time to take a chance and leave. There's been a new wave of English players taking a risk and going to Europe before it would be going to the Championship. Yeah. What's it like going to Europe to play football?
It's good, because I know you're playing football, but in terms of general life and aspects of life, you get to experience different cultures, different areas, just a whole different way of living, it can mature you as a man. And yeah, and you've seen it's worked out for a lot of British players that have gone abroad. You know, they're seeing a lot of success.
How does it differ to London life?
It differs a lot because you're leaving your family, you're leaving your friends, and you're going out there to live by yourself. And the language is different, everything is different. So you just need to adapt. And but the main focus is always going to be football. So
what were some of the first struggles that you had when you first moved to Greece? Was it simple things like your favourite takeaway no longer being there, or not being able to go to your mum's to get some food? Or?
Definitely, I'd say the food. When I first went there, you know, because I missed the mum's food, you know, the mum's food is special. But I would say just being there by yourself and not really having friends. Obviously, I had friends and family come in sometimes, but on a day-to-day basis, I'm by myself after training, have a lot of time to think, so it gets quite boring.
So how did that mature you as a person? Because even when we were walking around the school, it was like you'd grown not just from the student they once knew, but you'd grown and become a man. And you had a stature and you had a presence. So was that through taking the decision to move to Greece, or it's just a gradual process been going on anyway? It's
a gradual process, I'd say. That's why I'd say, like, going on loan, it's not only just about football, it's about everything in life. You've got to go out there by yourself, learn how to take responsibility, you know, so I'll definitely say it helps me.
So then when you look back at the boy that you once were, who first signed to Arsenal 16 years ago, and now you're a man who's living in Greece, Super League champion, how can you sum up that change?
Well, firstly, I'd never expect to see myself playing in Greece. Firstly, I'm becoming a champion there, so football is just unpredictable, but I'd say I'm enjoying it right now. I'm grateful for all the opportunities that I've had, and I'm still young, you know. People tend to forget my age because I've been on loan so many times and I've been around for so long, but I'm still 23, still young, and not even near my prime yet, so I'm excited for the future.
Chuba was only 9 years old when his hero Thierry Henry's Arsenal went the season unbeaten, but now Chuba was only one game away from being an invincible himself. So Chuba, you're next to an Arsenal legend and an invincible. Your own team, PAOK, are one game away from replicating that, the whole season unbeaten. What's going through your mind? What are the celebrations going to be like in Greece, if you can do it?
I mean, it's going to be mental, you know, to go a whole season undefeated in the league and becoming invincible will be amazing, you know. We've already made history after winning the league after 34 years. If we can become invincible and win the league cup, that would just be amazing for the club, amazing for the people.
The chants of Chuba's name will echo amongst the pantheons of Greek football history, because not only did his goal help PAOK win their last game and finish the season unbeaten, he also scored the only goal in the cup final, this spectacular overhead kick. In a historic unbeaten season, PAOK won the league and cup double, and Chuba became an invincible.
You deserve! You deserve, guys!
Your final, Your final, congratulations!
Before Chuba went on a well-deserved holiday, I spoke to him about how he overcame setbacks and will handle the pressure of being a role model. So how did you stay focused when you got to Arsenal? You made it into the first team, but then things weren't going as well as you wanted, so you decided to leave. How did you keep the confidence in yourself to believe that actually if I go somewhere else I'm definitely going to achieve something?
Because growing up I always heard things like, oh, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't play football here, you're not going to make it here. And everyone's got an opinion, you know, opinions don't mean nothing to me. You know, I'm playing in front of thousands every week, and some people don't like you, some people don't. You get abused some games, some games you don't. So I never listen to
that. You just don't listen.
You just don't listen. You block it out. If you end up listening to it, you get distracted. Even on social media, it's such a big thing right now. You know, someone can comment on your picture negative.
So a lot of people don't know what it feels like to have so many fans chanting your name, but also if things go wrong, so many people can at you on Twitter or they can comment on your Instagram. Exactly. When you see negative comments, how do you overcome them?
I just laugh at them, serious, because you can't get to me. Like I'm too thick-skinned for that, you know. A little comment you write to me, I've had it since I was 16, 17, negative comments, positive comments. I appreciate all the positive comments, but the negative comments, I just block it out. and stay focused.
So for some of the children who obviously are going through their own level of social media sometimes when they get bullied, what advice would you give them to overcome that social media bullying?
One thing I'd say is don't look too into social media because it's all fake. You got people that make fake accounts and they're commenting on your pages and abusing you. It's all fake. And a lot of people are not living their Instagram life or their Twitter life, whatever it is, in real life. So don't look too into it.
So then hopefully there's both young people watching this who want to follow in your footsteps, but they could be parents who have a young son or a young daughter who potentially could be a footballer or wants to be a footballer. What advice would you give those parents to try and help their child at least get to be the best that they can be?
The advice I'd give is just keep supporting your child because it gets really difficult. You get some kids that play for academies when they're younger, they get to 16 and no club wants them no more and they have to go back to working or back to university or school. So just keep supporting them through the difficult times is one piece of advice I'd give you. And another piece of advice I'd give you is don't be too hard on the child, because I feel like when parents have this kid that's good at football, they put a lot of pressure on the kid, you know, because there's a lot of money involved. There's a lot involved, you know, this team wants you, this academy wants you, this agent. There's a lot going on, so try and take the pressure off of your kid and just keep them remaining focused.
Sometimes when young children get signed, does it feel like, from what your experience in terms of what you've seen from other parents, does it feel like the whole family thinks this is like a golden check that's going to sort the whole family out?
Exactly, and it shouldn't be like that. I remember my dad always tells me to this day, he's never forced me to play football. Even when I used to have bad games when I was younger or something like that, he wouldn't say a word. He just makes sure that I'm enjoying it, and that's it. You shouldn't look at your child as some sort of, you know, ticket out, you know, so, yeah.
So, last question. You left London, a Canning Town boy, former Arsenal player. You come back a man and, of course, a champion. What next for Chuba Akpom?
What next? I would say this is just the beginning. When you win one trophy, you want to win another and another and another. So hopefully by God's grace, I can just keep winning trophies, individual trophies, team trophies, whatever it is, and just keep becoming successful.
This was the story of how a London boy became the man.